let me tell you something, uneducated fool.
This right here is going to be a pretty deep video, so make sure you guys stick around for the full video. I'm going to be talking about this WHO treaty, this treaty from the World Health Organization that Biden is apparently negotiating. I'm also going to be talking about the process of actually ratifying a treaty. I'm also going to be spitballing about this Pennsylvania race. And I'm going to end the video with a few updates on how the transition is going to work going into next week with the new content or the new formatting of how I'm going to do things. So make sure you guys stick around. What's up, guys? John Claymore here. Now, we got to talk about the World Health Organization, and we've got to talk about this little treaty that's supposed to be going into place for being brought to the floor of the United States Senate sometime in June. Of course, they're supposed to meet. As a matter of fact, they're probably meeting over it right now. They're supposed to be meeting over it next week. But let us not forget that there are those out there who actually try to gaslight us. So Jack Posebiec has been sharing this all over Twitter. And by the way, it is concerning. I mean, I do not like globalism at all. However, what Jack Posebiec tends to forget, and which is what a lot of these influencers on both the left and the right, and by the way, I'm starting to believe it's almost a coordinated effort between some of the personalities up there. I may do a video on that later on. I won't say it out loud yet. But I'm starting to think that one of the biggest problems that we have in this country is that people don't know the actual law. You see, when it comes to this treaty from the WHO, from the World Health Organization, Biden has got to put that into the United States Senate. Okay, it's got to be voted on the Senate. Okay, what Posebiec's not telling you, and by the way, you can fix this by doing a good old-fashioned Google search, is that this treaty would not be ratified in the United States unless 2/3 of the United States Senate went along with it. I highly doubt you would get 2/3 of the United States Senate to ratify this treaty. Let me take you guys back in time really quick, all right? When Barack Obama was president, he got elected, and I got to say this over and over again because this was the MO of the Obama administration. Barack Obama got elected in a landslide in 2008. Okay, Democrats won a lot of Senate seats. They had, I think, 59 seats at that time. They had an overwhelming majority in Congress, which, by the way, we would call that their supermajority or a legislative mandate. 2010, Tea Party Republicans, which, by the way, that move kind of fizzled out because a lot of them turned out to be absolute neocons and never Trumpers and not exactly what we call America First. A lot of these people came back, and, of course, base got hyped up after Obamacare, and, of course, Republicans took back the House. They did not take back the Senate. They gained a lot of Senate seats, but they were never able to take it back. Barack Obama was trying to put a lot of United Nations orders or a lot of United Nations things into place. For example, there was an overseas treaty that was being pushed by Richard Lugar out of Indiana. I'll get you guys more facts on that in later on videos. Another thing was a UN gun treaty. Another thing was a UN World Court treaty. And none of these could be ratified by the United States Senate. First and foremost, every time that it could have been brought to the Senate, the Democrats did not have enough votes with the 60 or the 66 that they would have needed to actually get these things done. I think they only had like 53 votes total between 2012 and 2014. And they couldn't get 13 Republicans to go along with it. So even with today's neocons, I highly doubt that this entire ordeal would occur. Now, the thing is this right here. We get gaslit all the time. One of the main reasons why people don't understand what is going on there, one of the main reasons why people are confused is because some of the people, even on our right and even on our left, have this tendency to not give you guys the full facts. Like I said before, and by the way, it's not even the fact that I got to be factual or anything. A lot of it's just basic common sense. You want to know how many votes it takes to ratify a treaty? Jack Posebiec would make you believe that it takes 51. He would make you think it takes 51, a simple majority, to actually get through a treaty from the United Nations. That's not how it works. Getting a treaty done, which, by the way, would come through the executive branch because the president is the one that would make the negotiation. He's the one that would sign the deal. It takes 66 votes. Posebiec's not going to tell you that because I think Posebiec is one of these people who's actually out there causing the problems. I think he's one of the people who's gaslighting everybody else and gaslighting him and thinking that something is a lot worse than what it really truly is. By the way, and now that we've already gotten through talking about this whole WHO thing, before I transition into the updates and the transition, which by the way won't last long, there's something I do want to talk about really quick, and that's Posebiec. Now, guys, I don't have any proof on this. I'm just kind of spitballing here. Posebiec in this Pennsylvania Senate race was pushing David McCormick. Now, the Pennsylvania Senate race had a lot of very, very bad candidates, okay? A lot of very, very bad ones. Barnett looked like she was going to be a solid candidate and as she was surging towards the end. But what happened was that when she was pressed about certain issues And by the way, guys, I'm not a fan of Sean Hannity. I'm not. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not since about 2017, 2018 timeframe. He's been kind of exposed. People on Twitter were going crazy because Sean Hannity exposed her. He brought up all of her information. He asked her. He pressed her. She didn't want to respond. She responded, and some of the responses were very, very bad. One of those issues was the DD214. Now, I don't have the tweet, but she tweeted out a copy of her DD214. And I know something very, very weird. Number one, when you get a DD214, you get it on the way out of the military, not during. Now, you might can get one if you re-enlist. I never re-enlisted in, so I wouldn't know too much about that particular part. But the thing is right here. Everything about the woman looked kind of suspect. Now, Oz was a bad candidate, but David McCormick was 10 times worse. Well, why is Posebiec pushing McCormick knowing that he's a globalist? Yeah, I get it. Oz has got a very, very bad past, or a very, very murky past. We don't know where he's going to go, but still, though, if you know that David McCormick is going to be worse than Dr. Oz, why are you pushing him? Or do you know he's going to be worse than Oz? I'm just asking the questions because, Jack, it seems to me like you just kind of expose yourself as possibly a plant. I just figured I would throw that out there. Now, guys, let's go ahead and move on to these updates. Now these updates. Okay, now that I've already spiffballed about Posebiec and how he may be a plant, which, by the way, I may bring this up at a later date. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a little bit crazy, but this is how things are going to work. This video right here is going to be released tomorrow with a video that I just made talking about the disinformation board being undone by disinformation. But on Saturday, there's a video that I'm going to be releasing, which is kind of not a re-upload, but kind of an addendum, or kind of a, I would say not really an addendum, I would say it's a an extension or a much more thoughtful, much more detailed video on gun control as a whole, and if it's actually possible. You guys know me; I'm very, very pro 2A, and I don't think that gun control can actually go through because I think there's a lot more hurdles than people in the media try to actually tell us. Also, something else at the same time too, and I'll be explaining if anybody even if the Democrats even really want to actually do that. Don't worry, I'll be bringing that up in that video. It's really kind of a response to another YouTuber. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it's not a negative response. We're just going to kind of expand on something that he brought up. But something else too, though, the way that things are going to work, if you guys can see back here where the computer is, I've got 2 microphones set up, and I'm going to be doing a lot of videos that are going to be from behind the computer from now on, where I'm going to be speaking into the microphone itself, where you guys are going to be seeing what it is that I'm looking at. We're going to be responding to reacting to some of the stuff there. We're also going to be taking on other issues. For example, prepping is going to get mentioned. It's going to be done a lot. We're still going to be doing prepping videos. Talk about the economy from time to time. Of course, wokeness, I'm probably going to try to keep that down to a minimal to a certain degree. I'm going to call it out when it needs to be called out, but I'm going to kind of keep that one down to a little bit of a minimal. I may do those videos in much longer formats going forward. The thing about it is right here. Anytime apparently you attack wokeness, YouTube finds a way to copyright strike your video or try to bury it down in the algorithm. Very, very weird how their censorship thing works. But the thing is this right here. We're going to be responding to a lot of this, and we're also going to be taking out other stuff. This right is a part of actually growing the base. Now, some of the videos, for example, like there's one in particular, like responding to the top 10 generals of all time. Well, I did a practice run video the other day on this. Videos like that, whether they're more military related or more prepping related for the time being, they're going to go on a short time of prepping for the time being. I'll probably release a few on Claymore anyways. And, of course, responding to real-world events, like, for example, think about the channel Think Before You Sleep. I'm not knocking off or anything like that right there. I'm just kind of going back and looking at some things that are just quite frankly pretty screwed up. For example, I've downloaded some stuff, downloaded some clips for the stuff right here that's been going on in Congress right now, where they've been questioning people about abortion, been questioning about if men can have babies, things like that right there. I'm going to be kind of responding to some of that there. And I'll even be responding to other YouTubers who, quite frankly, do debates. For example, I've seen a few of them recently, and if you guys are familiar with people like, say, What If Altruist, he had a debate with Vosh the other night, just kind of responding. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be kind of expanding this channel out, expanding the content, and at a later date, of course, I'll start splitting up the content, putting it on other channels, which, by the way, which will be on my banner as a whole. But the transition is going to go ahead and start this week. Guys, John Claymore, if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video sound in the comment section. I'll see you guys later.
That seed salesman sure saw us coming.
No, saw you coming. Corn, corn, corn. Nothing but corn.